This laser can easily cut 3/4 inch plywood, and pretty much any material I cut on it, it cuts way better than my 30-watt laser. This is the CREALITY FALCON 2. This is a 22-watt laser, and I'm going to review it in details today with lots of examples, settings, and so on. Now, before I get into the review of this, I just want to tell you they have a huge sale right now, many $100s off. I'll put a link in the description below where you can buy this laser, and they were so nice, they gave me a 20% off coupon. So if you go to the description below, you will see the link, and then at the checkout where you put gift card or promo code and whatever, you can add 20 Falcon, and that will give you another 20% off. So that is fantastic. You will get it like $600-800 cheaper than the original price. Now, this is one of those videos that was really hard to put together because I have so much to show you, and I just did not really know which order I should do it. I know everybody wants to go straight to the cutting and the examples and all that, but there's so much to see on the unboxing, and also there's so much to show you about the laser specs and what you get, things that no other laser has it, and I think it's very important to know these things. So after much thought, I decided I will do things a little bit different. I'm not going to put them in order. You might think I'll put the unboxing first, but I'm going to put that very last because that's the thing that most people do not want to see unless you're buying it and then you need help to put it together or to see what you're getting in the box and so on. So the way I will do this, I'll give you some really quick specs and what's different about this laser. And then I'm going to go into the test files and what you can do with this laser. And then at the very end of the video, I'll put the unboxing just in case you're curious what you get in the box, how to put it together, and so on. Especially if you're buying one, that could be really helpful. Now, if you do not want to see the specs, what's different with this laser versus other lasers, go skip to this time code over here. I'll put it somewhere here, and that will take you straight to the examples and settings and cut files and whatever. So skip over there if you do not want to see what's, amazing about this laser. So I'm gonna make this really quick. I'm not gonna give you the specs that you see on paper. So if you go to Amazon, for example, you will see lots of specs. You can read those yourself. I'm not gonna give you those. I don't want to bore you, but I will show you what's different on this laser than any other laser. First of all, the laser came pre-assembled. Like the whole frame was put together. The only thing I did is put in the laser module, which is just held on. Let me move you a little bit in this way so you can see what I'm seeing. All right. So when I pulled it out of the box, the frame was already all put together. And then all I had to do is to put in the laser module, which is just held on by these two screws. You see, you can lift it up. And that is pretty much it for installing the laser module. I do like it that it comes with two screws. Most laser, well, at least all of the ones I've reviewed and I have, they only come with one. And that could be a problem when you're focusing your laser because you only have one point of contact here. And that sometimes makes the laser tilt a little bit and it becomes a little bit out of focus. So two screws over here, that's how you install the laser. The other thing I had to do is to put in the air assist, which is just cable. I had to plug it over here, and it did come with air assist over here. This is a great unit, and it comes with your machine. And all I had to do is just take the cable, plug it over here into the laser module, and then the laser unit plugs into the frame over here. Now the laser assist, you can control it from light burn just by that toggle on and off, so you can have it on and off, but you can also manually adjust it from over here. I'm gonna move you over there now so you can see it. Right over here it's a wheel, and you can adjust this. If you move it up, that is max power. If you move it down, that is minimum power, and then you can put it anywhere in between. Now, there are many different opinions out there when it comes to air assist. Should you have it on or should you have it off? Some people leave it on when they do cutting and they turn it off when they do engraving. Well, I've done plenty of testing and I can tell you on engraving makes no difference if you have it on and off. And when I say no difference, I mean it doesn't get any better with it off. You should keep it always on. I keep mine on max power for cutting and engraving. And here is why. Air assist, it prevents burning, scorching, the burn that you see on the top of your piece of wood, but that's not all of it. The most important job of the air assist is to keep your lens clean. All the debris and fumes and smoke that comes from your laser, you would deposit onto your laser lens, and you need to clean it. If you do not have air assist at all and you do a lot of cutting, you should probably clean your laser lens every single day. Now, if you do have air assist and you do a lot of cutting, you still need to clean it once in a while. And if you don't turn yours on at full power, then you have to clean it more often than if you have it at full power. If you do not clean your laser and it gets dirty, your laser lens, then it cannot focus properly. It will make big flames and it will damage your lens, and then you will have to spend some money to replace it. So I keep my air assist on at all time at full power, and it seems to work fantastic. Now, the really cool thing about this unit versus any other lasers I review is that the air assist, let me move you back so you can see. All right, the different things about this air assist, as you can see, the hose goes straight into the laser module and it comes out straight where the laser is. So most lasers, they have this little thing here on the side where you plug it in and it just shoots air through the side. This one goes through the air module, and I really like that one a lot. It's making such a big difference. Now let's talk about cable management. Let me bring this closer to you. You see this? There's no Velcros. There's these metal clips that you can pull your cable out of it and you can put it back in. Everything is so well maintained into this frame. I love the cable management of this. I think it's the best one I've ever seen, and I think every laser company should do this. There is no dangling cords like my X tool. They have like this big cord that is just here on the ground, and sometimes it's hitting your workpiece. This is really well contained, and it doesn't matter where I move the laser. There is no dangling cables, nothing to get caught or cause any kind of problems. The cables, even on the side, they have the same clips, and no zip ties, no Velcros. Everything just works fantastic. I love that clean, nice look. It does have limit switches, and most top of the line lasers do have limit switches. Another cool thing, cool design, let me flip this back so you can see. For the feet, when you put the feet, you see it has 3 positions that you can put your feet on. I chose the ones more in the middle, and that is important. If you do not have a large table, then you can go to the ones closer, and that will make your laser fit on your table even if you do not have a very large table. Another really cool thing about this laser that I have not seen anywhere on any other laser is these 3 alarms. There are 3, let me see if I can get this closer to you. It's kind of tough to film and show. So you see here it says air, fire, and lens. And when the machine is on, these things turn green, and this is your little alarms. The air one, it will tell you if your air assist is on or if it has any trouble. When it's on and it's at maximum, it's gonna be green. When you have it on, but it's a low power, it will be yellow. And when you have it off, it's red. And that's important because maybe something happened, or your air assist is not working or it's clogged. And then you can see this really easily over here. Then you have the fire alarm. And the fire, just like the name says, if there is a fire, it will detect it, it will set an alarm, and the machine will stop. And then here is a really cool thing that no other laser has, and that is the lens alarm. What this does, it monitors your lens and how clean it is. When it gets dirty and your laser cannot focus properly, this will turn red. It's green usually by default, but when it's trouble with it, it will turn red, and you will know it's time to clean your lens. Otherwise, how would you know when you need to clean your lens? So I love those things. Now the machine they sent me, it came with the air assist, and it also came with the honeycomb grid and the steel plate that goes under your honeycomb grid. Now let's talk a little bit, why do you need a honeycomb grid? If you only do engraving, you really don't need it. You can just put a piece of plywood or anything on your surface and go on engraving. If you are cutting material, this honeycomb grid is essential because it will allow airflow go from all around the top and bottom, and that will give you a cleaner cut. And then the steel plate underneath the honeycomb grid collects all the, sap and burnt pieces and, goop and whatever. So that is important to have underneath. Now here's another thing where this laser is better than others. It's just all the details that are so well taught. The honeycomb grid has little feet. Now that doesn't sound like very important thing, right? It's just a couple of rubber feet, no big deal. But I can tell you it makes a difference. My honeycomb grid that I have from Longer, for example, does not have feet. And what is happening is when I'm cutting materials, it will drop little pieces like these ones over here, or even bigger ones that will just fall through the honeycomb grid. And what that does, it makes your laser uneven. It will be sticking up on one side and it seems wobbly, and then that will make your laser not focus properly and you're not getting uniform engraving and cutting. So just little details like that, it does make a big difference. Now with the laser that they sent me, it also came with the rollers. And this is the roller that you use to engrave cylindrical things like water bottles and cups and whatever. I will have to be honest with you, yet I have not tried it. I've never used these rollers before. I don't do much engravings. I'm very grateful they sent it to me. It was part of the package that they sent me. I have not used it. I will try it, I promise. I'm just not ready yet. I have a few other projects first to do before I try this. But it's really cool that it came with the rollers. They have also sent me the enclosure for it, and I will show you that in the end because it's not in my shop right now. But that was so nice of them to send me the enclosure. It is very important to have an enclosure, especially when you do cutting. If you do just engraving, you can get away with no enclosure because it doesn't produce that much smoke. But if you are cutting materials, it produces a lot of smoke and fumes that are not good for your health. And an enclosure will help with that a lot. It's like a tent that sits on top of your machine, and then it has an exhaust vent that takes the fumes out of your shop. I will show it to you on the end of this video. Before I show you my test files, let me just show you the focusing tool that I have. It's this stepper, has 3 risers, and one of them, the one on the top says engrave cutting thickness, 1 to 3 millimeters. Then cutting thickness of 4 to 6 millimeters and cutting thickness that's over 6 millimeter. Now this little thing gave me a lot of trouble, and I'm going to show you what I was doing wrong, so hopefully you don't make the same mistake. I don't think you'll do these mistakes because maybe you're not as dumb as me. I don't know why it took me so long to figure this out, so I'm going to show you what I was doing wrong and how to use this thing, and let's go right into it. Now to focus your laser, the way you will do it, you have this stepper, and let's say I want to engrave on this material. You put your material on your honeycomb grid, and then you put your stepper over here. Now, like I showed you before, here it shows 1 to 3 millimeter, 4 to 6, and 6 millimeter. So if you want to engrave on this, you set your stepper over there, and then you loosen these 2 screws and you put your laser module right here on the top step, which is for engraving and cutting 1 to 3 millimeters, and then tighten the screws and remove the stepper. And now you are ready to engrave. Where I got into trouble is that I was engraving and I don't know why I wasn't thinking straight. I looked at my material and I said, well, that's over 6 millimeters. So what I did, I set my stepper to the lower step where it says over 6 millimeters. I undid the screws and tightened it back up. And what that did is set the focus for over 6 millimeter, but that is for cutting. As you can see, the first step it will tell you engrave and cutting, and then the second and third is just for cutting settings. So the reason why they have this is because if you think about it, when you engrave, it doesn't matter how thick your material is. You just focus to the very top and then, it engraves even if your material is, 1 foot thick or just 5 millimeter thick. It doesn't matter. But I didn't think about that, and I was focusing for the deeper cut. And what these two steps are, they're actually defocusing. So you are focusing the laser lower than it should. That way it's focused more inside of the material and it cuts through a lot easier through the thicker materials. So that's what they're for. So here is where that showed off. You see, I was using the settings of 600 speed, 70% power. I stopped the laser, I didn't finish this because obviously it was burning out like crazy. And that is because my laser was focused way deeper into the wood and it was just having so much power, it was just burning my wood. Then I was like, well, that's too much power. So I lowered the power and I went 600 speed, 30 power. And it's looking better, but it's not very sharp. As you can see, it's kind of blurry and the details are not that great. So I was like, okay, well, something is wrong. It shouldn't be like that. So then I really thought about it and I realized that my mistake was the way I was focusing. Once I realized that, and I was able to engrave this thing, and for this I use speed 70 at power 60. And this turned out beautiful. The settings were just right. Now I engraved this exact design on my X tool because that's a 20-watt laser. And for that one, I had it at 70 power, 70 speed. So this one, it's a more powerful laser because I had it at lower power by 10% and it gave me an amazing result. Now here is some more engraving testing that I did. I did here 600 speed at 50 power and you can see it did a really light engraving. It's beautiful, but it's really, really light. I like my engravings to be a little bit darker and deeper. So then I changed the settings to 70 speed, 70 power, and that was a little bit too much. Now we're getting really black. So like I said, the settings, these settings were way better for it. The material you're using makes a big difference into the engraving, the way it looks. And I'm gonna show you, let's see. So this is maple, this is hard maple, and here is speed 70 at power 70. You see how black it looks? And then here is a speed 70, power 70 on cherry. And they look so different. I mean, it doesn't even look like the same machine engraved these things. So cherry, it's not as great as maple when it comes to engraving. You see that? Same settings, 70, 70, completely different results. Now, coming to engraving, I decided to try some coasters, some slate coasters, and I did a little test chart over here. I kind of saw what settings worked for me. So then I decided to do this engraving over here. And for this one, I use 700 speed and 22 power. So that is what it looks like after engraving with those settings. I thought it was really beautiful. My framing was not the most accurate, it's not in the middle, but this was just for testing the machine. Now, when it comes to engraving, this machine can engrave on steel and can create colors. So I practiced some color engraving on steel. I had these dog tags. And my framing, again, is not that great, but you can see I engraved here on stainless steel. And this, it looks just black. And for this one, I use speed 70 at 100% power. And I'm showing you all these settings just in case you buy this machine, then you don't have to go through all this testing. You can just have my testing and see what works for you. Then I did a color engraving on this one, and this one is yellow. So I lowered the power quite a bit to get this yellow color. I forgot to write what setting was on that one, so I do not really know what the setting was. But then I also got some reds, and I don't know if the light will allow you to see that this is actually brown red, it's not black. And this one was 100 power and 100 speed, 70 power. And that gives you red color when it comes to engraving on stainless steel. And then my favorite is this one. For this one I use 120 speed at 60 power, and it gives you beautiful blue tones. Again, my framing is completely ridiculous. I kind of missed the blank, but it did give me blue tones. So then I decided, why don't I try to engrave a picture on a business card that is stainless steel. So I used the 120 50 power for this, and I engraved this dragon over here, and I got reds and blues. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll try to move it so the light hits it differently. But that's what I got with these settings on a stainless steel card. Then I try the same image, the same dragon on a aluminum like coated business card, and this is a red business card, and this is what it looks like on this one. I think it's a lot of details and it's very pretty. And this one was 200 speed at 20% power, so quite a lot less power. And then I also did another one where it just, you know, says Sawdust and Splinters on an aluminum black coated card. So there you go. I have to move out of the frame so the camera focuses, but beautiful engraving. Now let's talk about inlays. Yesterday I made this box over here. Now the box itself is not made with a laser. I just did it with traditional woodworking, you know, tools. But the inlay on the top, it's done with this laser. And I'm gonna show you the settings I used and how I did this inlay. If you wanna see a really step-by-step how I made this whole box, I posted the video yesterday. You can go watch that and you can see really step-by-step how I built the whole box, the handle and everything else. Now the inlay on this box is made from two pieces, the white maple, the hard maple, that is the inlay part, and then the lid, which was paduk. And the way I made it, I had to cut this maple to cut this inlay, and then I had to carve a pocket to fit this inlay into the lid. Here's the settings I used. I did a little test file over here with a hummingbird. This is a hummingbird inlay that I did, and that's what this test file was for. So my settings for this, for the bird, to cut my 1/8 inch paduk, I use a speed 4, 100 power, and that cut my inlay, which is the one that was on the box. And then to create this pocket where the inlay fits, I used 40 speed and 100% power. And then you have a pocket that you can fit your inlay perfectly in it. And of course you will use wood glue and sand it down. And that's how I created this beautiful inlay over here. Actually, I have another test file over here when I tested the pocket to make sure that was deep enough. Let me see if I can find a ruler. So you can see this is how deep my inlay, my pocket was. And that allowed me to get my 1/8 inch in there, and that's how I made that inlay. Now let's talk about cutting capabilities. I do a lot of cutting, that's what I use my laser for. I don't do a lot of engraving, so cutting power is very important to me. I started with an 1/8 inch of walnut, and I cut this one a speed 7, 100% power, and the laser just chopped it in half with no issues at all. I think I could have even went a little bit faster or lower power, but I was happy with the cut. Very clean cut, no scorching at all, and it cut it beautifully. So then I switched to hard maple because that's another wood I often use. For this one, I use 2.5 speed at 100% power, and this is a 1/4 inch hard maple, and it cut absolutely beautiful, no issues at all. I gotta move out of the frame so the camera can focus, but really nice clean cut and no scorch marks at all. So then I went to cherry. Cherry is another common wood that I have in my shop and I often use, and for this one I use speed 5, 100% power, and I took 2 passes. This is a 1/2 inch cherry, solid wood cherry, and as you can see it cut really easily, just like butter, no scorching at all, very clean cut. I hope this focuses. No burn marks, very clean cut. Then I went looking through my shop and I found 3/4 inch pine. And for this one I did speed 2.5, 100% power, and I did 3 passes. This is 3/4 inch pine, and it cut through it with no problem, no scorching. As you can see, really easy cut. It didn't have any trouble at all. So then I decided to push it even a little bit further and try some 3/4 inch plywood. Now, I would never cut 3/4 inch plywood with a laser, but I figured why not try it and see how it does. For this one, I had a speed of 2.5, 100% power, and I took 6 passes. And as you can see in the clip, I will insert maybe here. It did cut through it with no problem. There were just like one little fiber that didn't really cut, but there is quite a bit of scorching. Let's see if it can focus. And you know, it doesn't look as clean as my other cuts, but it did cut 3/4 inch plywood, and plywood is really hard to cut because it has so many layers of glue, and that makes it very difficult. Now I'm gonna show you the enclosure really quick so you can see it, so you know what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to go for the unboxing. I'm gonna put those clips in. Now don't forget, if you decide to purchase this laser, use my link in the description below and my coupon code to get an extra 20% off. Now here is the way the enclosure looks like. It's not completely together because I don't keep it in the shop since it's so big. And I already have one. You can see it right there on the wall. I have that one from Longer that they sent me. So no need for me to have 2 of them. This is what it looks like, the enclosure. It's a tent and it just sits over your machine. Let me put it on here. All right. So it sits on your laser like this. It has zippers so you can access your workpiece and you can see your laser. So that's pretty much it. It's just a tent. It is, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty cheaply made. It feels cheap, it looks cheap, but it does the job. So on the side of this laser, you have a little flap, and here is where your fan is. And this fan, you can connect this hose over here to the fan, and this will pump out all the fumes outside of your shop. You do have to have your laser close to a window or your door that you can snake this hose outside, but like I said, it does the work and it's really good to have it. You don't want to smell or, you know, breathe in all those fumes. So I have not been using it much just because, like I showed you, I already have my Longer one over there that was already put together and I've been using it. So these things are bulky. I don't have the room for them in my shop. So one of them, it's plenty, and you know, as long as your laser fits in it, you're okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put in the unboxing and how I put this laser together, just in case you do want to see that. So let's open this box and see what's inside. I am very excited about this because I heard so many good things about CREALITY. I know they're very well known into the 3D printer world, so they also make really good lasers. All right, as you can see, giant box. And let's make some room in here. And, oh boy, can't even reach to open the flap. Very well packaged. I'm gonna remove this foam. And let's see what we get in the box. I'm gonna move this way. We get some testing materials. It looks like we have some plywood, We have a nice piece of steel. There's a brush, a cable, and a focusing little block over here. So that's that. Then over here we have a lot more testing materials. Let's see. You can see we have some plywood. We have some, it looks like felt, a little piece of paper like cardstock. We'll have to play with that, see, what we can do. But let's go into unboxing some more, see what else is in this box. We get an instructional pamphlet here, and this will tell us how to work from the computer, or if you want to use the TF card. So we'll see when we get to that part. Then we get another little pamphlet telling us about. Then we get a full manual with the assembly. We get some stickers. And let's see. It looks like, let's see, I might be wrong, but it looks like this thing, it's already all assembled and put together. Let me take this out. Ooh, you know what, you guys? This is so exciting. I've never seen this before. This laser comes with the rollers. Every laser I looked at, you have to buy this separate. So if you have tumblers, water bottles and whatever, you can engrave with this roller. And I've never used one. I've never had one. All the other lasers I have did not come with this. It also comes with an air pump, which is over here. It has the feet that we have to screw into the base. And then it has this little tiny toolbox with the tools where we need to put it together. It's a nice touch that they put in a toolbox, not just in little Ziploc bags. We have the green glasses. We have the laser module itself and all the cables we need. So I'm gonna put that aside for now. And this is really cool, you guys. The base comes already assembled. It looks like the only thing we need to do is put in the cables and the laser module. So let's see. Okay, sturdy, nice base here. I'm gonna bring you a little bit closer so you can see better what I see here. But this is some really exciting stuff. And as a bonus, it comes with a honeycomb grid. So that is also really cool. I've never had a laser that comes with a honeycomb grid. Usually you have to buy that separate. So things that are included that normally would not be included when you buy a laser is the air assist, honeycomb grid, and the roller, so you can engrave glasses and so on. I apologize for the background noise, but my vacuum is emptying himself. So the frame is fully assembled. Let me get you closer. We can take a closer look at this and see what we need to do. I think I have it upside down. No. All right, I'm gonna move the camera a little bit closer so you can see. Cable management is fantastic. Let me get you closer so you can see. No more little zip ties and stuff. They really thought about it. Everything, it looks assembled really, really nicely. I like that the frame is pre-assembled. That means you don't have to worry about getting it square. It looks like the belts are already tightened and installed. I never liked installing the belts. So let's see, what is our instructions? All right, this is our 4 feet. And we need to install them. Let's see. This is another nice touch, full of surprises. I don't know if you can see, but we have 3 holes in here on all 4 corners. That means if you have a smaller table, you can put this more and towards the center, and it will fit on your table. My other lasers didn't fit on my workbench, so I had to put a piece of plywood to, be able to stand on my table. So I'm gonna put it to the closer ones towards the center. Pretend I have a very small table, because in the shop I do have a small table. All right, feet are installed. This is nice now because they're rubber, so they're not going to scratch my table. So that's good. Let's see what's number 2. Right, we'll put this one here on the table. And looks like we need to remove this little rubber thing over here. You see how like the nozzle was clogged with this cap. So remove that. And then this is my tube. The tube just goes right in there. Ta-da! Done. We installed the air assist. And it looks like the air assist, wait a minute, somehow it has to get into the machine here. Now it's time to put in the laser. So I'm gonna open this guy. And this guy goes right over here. I think I have to loosen these 2 screws. There you go, just slides in. Very nice. And then this guy connects to, where does this one connect? It looks like this guy connects into this board over here. Let's see if that works. There you go, it's on. Can I put them through these slots? Yes, I can. There you go. That is working really well. Great cable management, I love it. That is the best. So we did that, and then it looks like the air pump goes right here. So goes in, right into the module. That's another different thing. Most of the lasers, the air pump connects over here on the side. But this one, it looks like it goes right through the module. Great. It's looking fantastic. We have some Velcros here to connect these 2 guys together. Just wow, that's all I have to say. This was so easy to put together. I mean, it was pretty much all already put together. And it took us like 5 minutes to finish the assembly. And it came with the honeycomb grid, it came with the air assist pump, and also with the roller, so you can engrave bottles and, you know, circular cylindrical stuff. So this is amazing. So far, I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be a really, really great one. Now, we'll have to see how it performs, so we'll take it to the shop and take it for a test drive. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skylar Ewing, and I'll see you in my next video.